We are doing it. This is so exciting. Saturday morning show. We're going to be talking about who to play, who not to play, what trades to make. All of those wonderful things are in the hopper right now. The team is on fire. Let's go, everybody. All right, who's got fantasy questions? I'm here to help. It's early on a Saturday. Let's get through it. Lots of going on. A lot of people need to win this weekend. Eli hits bombs is here, everybody. When Eli's in the house, you know it's going to be pure fire. Eli hits bombs. Awesome. Gus Cuts right here, baby. Who else we got? Who's got the fantasy questions of the hour right now? Hey, Footballer Nick is in the house. Hey, Footballer Nick. How about them Chargers, baby? Big game tomorrow. Tomorrow night, actually, right? Big game. Can Herbert do it? Maybe. Maybe the Chiefs are ready for a big upset, huh? Now, Footballer Nick, are you up? Oh, here we go. First question of the day comes from Tyler Bennett on TikTok. Rate my team, please. Daniels, not bad. Pretty good. Taylor, a little inconsistent. Don't love the numbers he's been putting up. Oh, Eli hits bombs. I would go Tracy all the way. Eli hits bombs. Swift has not been putting up the numbers. Tracy has a great matchup. All right, but let's go back to our first question, Tyler. Taylor is okay. I think he's a better running back than the numbers he's been putting up, but Achane is fantastic. Nico, great. Neighbors is probably, he's not been putting up great numbers. And Garrett has not been putting up great numbers. I would probably give you like a C plus because of Achane and Nico and a little bit of Daniels. I mean, Achane and Nico are like A plus players right now. Daniels is probably like an A minus ish. Taylor's probably a C. Neighbors is probably a C. Garrett is probably a C. And let me look up Trey real quick. Boom, boom. I'm assuming you mean Trey McBride. Yeah, he's actually been putting up some good numbers for Arizona. So he right now, the last 5 weeks, he's had actually 6 weeks, he's had over 7 points. He's quietly, you hear a lot about Bowers. Hey, Mr. Magic, yo, what's up, buddy? Over on YouTube. I would say that he's probably like an AA plus. He's quietly putting up some really good numbers. So I would give him an A. Overall, I think you're a C plus, maybe a B minus with Trey. I didn't realize he had 6 weeks of over 7 points for a tight end. That's really, really good. So I'm impressed. I do think though Taylor and Neighbors and Garrett makes you very weak because they don't put up consistent numbers. So, if you still can trade, I would maybe package up, like Garrett and Neighbors and try to get someone that like a Puka maybe, or somebody like that. All right, we're over on YouTube as well, and we're over on Twitch. I don't have much of a following on Twitch, but let's see. Michael Lewis has a question. Mr. Magic has a question. Tua or Mahomes, Mooney or B. Cooks? I would go Tua over Mahomes. It's a really good matchup against the Jets. Let's see. So that's one on YouTube. Start 2, Colin asked, CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Jakobi Meyers. I would go Jakobi Meyers is your safe backup bet. I would say that Ladd McConkey, if he plays, he's as of last night, he was still listed as questionable. So let me double check on that, and I'll jump back over to YouTube real quick. Yeah, he's still listed as questionable, Ladd. So if he plays, I would say, because against Kansas City last time, he had 15 points. So he's a really solid start. I am worried about CeeDee Lamb. However, the Bengals are so bad against the pass. I guess this is the way I look at it, Colin. CeeDee and McConkey are a little bit of, Ladd isn't necessarily a gamble, because if he plays, As long as, see, I'm worried about that lingering knee issue, but I would say Ladd's a safe bet if he plays. CD, I'm a little worried about. Is Cooper Rush? Does CD even really want to be there anymore? His numbers are down, but he still puts up pretty decent numbers with Cooper Rush, and he'll be able to get a lot. They'll be able to pass a lot against the Bengals because they're the worst team defensively against wide receivers. But I see CD as a little bit of a risk because I don't know, like I'm waiting for Cooper Rush, sort of the shoe to drop, kind of. But I would say Ladd McConkey and CD would be the best ones, I think, based on the matchups, because CD's matchup is way better than Jakobi Meyers. But actually, any two of them, Jakobi Meyers is a good start because he goes up against Tampa Bay. So none of them are a bad start. I said all that to just say that, I would go CD Lamb and Ladd McConkey, but if you want a safer bet, I would maybe go Ladd and Jakobi and fear sort of, whether or not CD is putting his all in the game. That's the one thing I keep hearing is people keep telling me, like, it looks like he doesn't seem to want to be out there. So, all right, let me jump back over. Greg Botros asked Ladd or Najee. Ladd, if he can play, if he's healthy enough to play, if he gets the okay to play, I would go Ladd over Najee. Otherwise, you have to pick Najee. All right, let me jump back to YouTube. Mooney or B Cooks? Boom, boom, boom. I haven't looked up B Cooks in a while. How's he been doing? What's he been looking like with the Cooper Rush experiment? 9 points. Let's see. In Atlanta plays Minnesota. Minnesota against the pass is 18th. They give up 22. I would go Mooney. Let me just double check that though. I'm going Mooney, but let me just double check that, okay? Let me look at something else. Yeah, I'd go Mooney. On that one. Let me jump back to our friends at TikTok. Pick two. Jennings, Metcalf, and B. Allen. I would go B. Allen. Wait. Hold on one second. I mean Braylon Allen. I was thinking of Keenan Allen. Mr. Adnan. No, I don't want to co-sponsor right now or whatever. Ooh, Metcalf? Jennings or Metcalf? I would go Metcalf. Jennings. Hold on one second. Let me look this up. Allen. I wanted to go faster. Braylon Allen. Juwan Jennings. And Metcalf. I would go Jennings and DK. I take that back. I would go Braylon Allen and DK Metcalf. Braylon Allen and DK Metcalf. Yeah. Braylon Allen and DK Metcalf. All right. Let's go back to YouTube real quick. If Bucky's out, do you like Tucker over Warren? Well, let's look it up, baby. Let's see. I don't think Bucky's going to be out, though. Yeah, I'd go Warren. Let me just see what he did last time against Cleveland. I think he got like 9 points. No, he got 13. Yeah, I'd go Warren based on what he did last time. All right, let me jump back to TikTok real quick. I think I'm boring some folks. Tua or Hurts? Ooh, good question. Let me look that one up. Tua or Hurts? Tua has a great matchup, but Philly plays Carolina, which is a great matchup. It might be Hurts. Let me just see here. Oh my God, everybody wants to join, but I don't know any of these people. When I don't know these people, it doesn't really help me out, and I lose all of my fans, or I guess I shouldn't say fans, but followers. Don't forget, everybody, just a quick reset. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow before kickoff. I did that only one time this season, and it's been pretty successful. A lot of people online, a lot of people I'm able to help. So definitely smash that follow button. Would love to get more of you guys following me, so that you know when I'm live, and we can I can help you out figuring. Yeah, I'd go Jalen Hurts on that one. Hurts and Tua. Okay, let me jump back to YouTube real quick. Tua or Kyler? Well, let's see here. They're gonna give me this. Oh, nope. Let me just do some Tua, Kyler Murray, since we already have Tua up. Oh, whoa. Okay. Kyler Murray over Tua. Huh. But not by a much. I think Tua has a great matchup against, let's look, Seattle, the Seahawks versus the Jets on quarterbacks. Let's just look real quick, and I can break it down by matchup. Seahawks are 7. The Jets are 30th. That's why I think Tua has a better matchup there. So I would go Tua on Tua or Kyler. All right, we're caught up. Don't forget on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and you guys know the drill. You can see it up there on the screen. If you want to go to the front of the line, you can make your own golden ticket by just gifting me. You can gift now on YouTube, by the way. I don't know if everybody realizes that they have the gifting program just like they have on TikTok. So you can gift, something for like a penny. I think you have to buy it in bulk like you do on TikTok, but you can gift, like, I don't know, something comparable to a rose or something, and that gets you to the front of the line. Dylan is here. Dylan is one of my great subscribers. He is listed right here. Dylan 4211J. He asked if McConkey is inactive. So he jumps to the front of the line because he's a subscriber. So if you want to subscribe, or follow on YouTube, please do so. And you go to the front of the line. So it's awesome. Did Marley gift? Did I miss a gift here? Yeah, Marley gifted. Okay, Marley, you'll be next. I'm sorry about that. I've been focused on my computer screen so much. Let me get to Dylan real quick, and I'll jump back to you because you're asking about Garendo. All right. If McConkey is inactive this week, Otten, Elijah Moore, or Quentin Johnston. Okay. Well, outside of the stats, the one thing about Quentin Johnston, Dylan, and anybody else who's out there, I really did not like the fact that what was against Pittsburgh or team recently, he dropped like 4 passes. So I can't in good conscience endorse his play. Now, Elijah Moore, I just think that was, it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, play that guy who, had the ball touch his hands and he could. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a great receiver, but I'm also not in the NFL for that very well. There's many reasons I'm not in the NFL, but that would be one of them. Okay, this is literally, so I'm breaking it down to Elijah Moore and Cade Otton. And this is literally, I mean, I'm not even kidding on this one, guys. This is literally a flip of a coin in my estimation. Okay, so I'm going to say that Elijah Moore is the green dot side because both sides are the same. Elijah Moore is the green dot side. Cade Otton is the non-green dot side. So we're gonna see if we can do this correctly. I'm gonna try to get this on both screens here. It is the non-green dot side, which is Cade Otton, I believe, right? Elijah Moore was the green dot side, so I'm going with Cade Otton. He goes up against Vegas. That should be a fairly good matchup for Tampa Bay, and obviously Elijah Moore goes up against Pittsburgh. So I am leaning towards Cade Otton on this one. Sorry to do that to you, Dylan. If you want to, when you're a subscriber, you can always DM me on TikTok and we can talk about it more, but it really is a 50-50 split. All right. Marley J asks, Where did Marley J? Isaac Garendo, and thank you very much, Marley J, for the support. And I apologize for not seeing that earlier. I'm on my phone again today, and sometimes it makes it a little difficult. I want to do this so I'm in the screen a little bit more, and I don't have to. I guess I could move this over, and that would help. Okay, Isaac Garendo or Aaron Jones. Let's look it up real quick. The one thing about Garendo, and I'm just going to put this out there, we don't know exactly what he's going to be like because he's never exactly been in this situation. Now, Aaron Jones has been in this situation. So if you want a safe bet, I would go with Aaron Jones. He hasn't been putting up maybe the points that I would like. You know, you guys might or might not realize that I like, you know, guys that get 13 or more points in running back or wide receiver. Aaron Jones hasn't been doing that as much as probably he should or was in the past. Isaac Garendo is really a risk because we don't know if he's going to be sort of the Cam Akers when he was trying to be a starter with Houston, or like the way Jordan Mason was earlier in the season filling in for CMC, which he actually put up good numbers, but recently he hasn't been. So that's my only fear. So the way I look at it is if you want a safe bet that gets you 10 to 14 points, you can go with Aaron Jones. If you want to roll the dice and get a riskier pick, but potentially with a higher ceiling, a higher number of points, go with Isaac Garendo. But remember, he may get you 8 points, he might get you 18, he might get you 6 points, he might get you 16, where Aaron Jones probably gets you at least double digits because that's what at least he's been doing over the last few weeks. So that's the way I look at that, Marley. I know that's not like, oh, definitively one person or the other, but I just see it that we don't have a lot of information to go on Garendo. With Aaron Jones, we definitely do. So that's why I'm going the direction I am. I'm saying Aaron Jones is a safe, steady pick. Might not get you, 13 points, might get you 10 or 11 or something like that. But Garendo could get you 6. He could get you 16. All right. Let's see who else. Let's see. We got, we're all caught up on gifting. And so if you want to gift, you can jump to the front of the line. That's your golden ticket. Where I'm saying right here, the golden ticket you gift, or if you're a subscriber, I can answer your question right away. We're not getting anything on YouTube. Let me go to Evan has followed me. I appreciate it, Evan. I'll go to your question. I kind of changed this a little bit because I'm on my phone more now, and sometimes it's difficult on my phone to see who followed me. But pick 2: BTJ, MHJ, Shakir, ETN, Garendo. Honestly, I would go BTJ and Garendo. ETN hasn't been putting up points. Shakir has not been putting up points, and MHJ has been highly inconsistent. BTJ does have chemistry with Mac Jones, which is very important. All right. He had a good game last week. I think, they have a good matchup this week. I think that's good. Garendo is a little bit of a risk, but I think Garendo's going to put up more points than ETN. I think Garendo has a chance of having more points than Shakir. So I'm kind of, saying, I'm kind of picking between BTJ and Marvin Harrison Jr. And then I'm picking between the final 3, and I'm saying, okay, I would go with BTJ and Garendo in that scenario. Now Garendo, as I just said, hold on one second. I have a space heater on, and Josh is here. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining. I will get to you next. Garendo, as I just said, I just want to put this out there. Garendo, Garendo is a little bit of an unknown. He's a little bit of a risk, but I think probably you can pencil him in for at least a minimum of 8 points, and you can't necessarily do that even with Shakir and ETN. All right. Let me look and see if Josh has any questions. Thank you for the roses, Josh. Josh just, sorry, left and came back. Jake Ferguson, thoughts? Well, let's look up Jake, see what he's been doing. Bum, 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 bum. I think he's been a little inconsistent, or his numbers have been lower. He is still listed as He did practice in full. Never mind. Yeah. See, the thing about Ferguson, he was out 2 games apparently, and then the 2 games before that, he had 1.6 and 2.4. Then he had 10. He is wildly inconsistent and low, which is kind of problematic for me anyway, or the way I look at it. To the point where I'm worried about. I'm worried about where he would. I'm worried about the numbers he would put up. Let's see. He goes up against the Bengals. The Bengals against tight ends. They're really bad against tight ends, 14.6. So Ferguson has not been putting up good points at all the last 2 games that he's recorded points. Okay. But he goes up against a really bad team. So he might actually put up a decent amount of points. And if we're talking tight end points, I know probably no one listens to this, but one of my formulas is 7 or more points for a tight end is good. I have 10 or more points for a kicker, defense. I have 13 or more for a wide receiver, running back, and I have quarterback 19 or more. So on paper, the Bengals are giving up 14.6 to tight ends over the last 4 weeks on average per game. And you got to figure that Ferguson will get half those points, if they truly give those up. So you got to figure that Ferguson going into this game on paper has 7 points. He has to show up and play and try. You still have to play the games in the NFL. That's the thing. That's the one thing that drives me crazy about doing all this is, I can say that Jayden Reed is going up against a really tough defense. Or no, Josh Jacobs, sorry. Josh Jacobs is going up against a tough defense, and Jayden Reed did well against Detroit last time, and it's the opposite. Josh Jacobs has a game of the season, or at least, of the last 2 months for him. And Jayden Reed, I think, had 0 points. So, yeah, I think Ferguson should get to that 7 points. Thank you, Josh, for the 27 Fest things. The Fest burst. I appreciate it. Can you check? Let me know if you have anything else too, Josh. You can always DM me too. Josh is another subscriber. We love Josh. He's always been so super energized and engaging. So I appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome, Josh. Okay. Dre's. If this is the same Dre's, he's been on a bunch of times with me. I don't know. Maybe people have the same name and all that, but can you check on Bucky injury? Let's look it up. I wasn't really worried about it yesterday. Why wasn't I worried about it? A lot of people did practice yesterday. He's still listed as questionable. He practiced in a limited capacity Friday and is listed as questionable. Return to practice at the end of the week improves Irving's chances of playing, but they're not committing to him. Any lost work for Irving figures to go to Rachaad White, Sean Tucker, with the former in particular making for a strong fantasy start. Yeah, Bucky practiced on missed both of Buccaneers practices to start the week, but is giving himself a chance to play in week 14 by taking the field on Friday. We'll have a better sense of his availability when the Buccaneers. So he's still listed as questionable. Now, one report says that he was limited. The other report said he did practice. Now, usually when they just say practice, that means he had a full practice, but that was an earlier report. And the later report said it was a limited practice. So I'm assuming he practiced limited, which means I give him probably like a 60-40% chance, like 60% chance of playing. But he plays, let's just see, he plays the early game. So I'm in Central Time. So they start at noon, but 1 Eastern. So you'll be able to get around 11:30 Eastern. My sinuses are all jacked up right now. Around 11:30 Eastern, you'll be able to know the final report on Bucky and make any changes before that. It's always 90 minutes before kickoff. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, let's see where we at here. Anybody else on YouTube? No. All right. Allen or Pacheco since Breece is out. All right. I bet you I'm going to say Pacheco, but the one thing I'll say from the reports is what worries me about Pacheco is I don't know if Kansas City's going to play him the whole time. Like or as much as they would have played him last year. There is some speculation that they're just getting Pacheco kind of ready for the playoffs, um, getting him in game shape, if you will, and so that way he's healthy when the playoffs start. Yeah, they're so because of that, because of the speculation, and let me see if there's anything new on Pacheco actually. And this is what I do, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Don't forget to hit follow on TikTok and that like button. We're at 1,800 likes. Let's try to get to 2,000. We have 11 people on, so if you want to share this stream, I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. Isaac Pacheco. Oh, this is from a while ago. Yeah, I don't have anything new on him. He only had 5 points, 7 carries, 44 yards, 1 reception for 5 yards. So I don't know that they're going to put him at 100%. I still feel that Hunt will get some carries and things like that, even in this game. I think they'll be bringing him along once they solidify sort of their position for the playoffs. I think, he'll probably, well, I think they're going to put kid gloves on for a while and just kind of bring him around slowly. So for that reason, that's why I would go with Allen because I think they have to play him 100%, unlike Pacheco. All right, Avery asked, Debo, Jennings, or Thielen? I bet you my information tells me Debo, but Debo's been putting up some junky numbers, some real bad numbers. Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. Let me look up Thielen. Let me do this real quick. I would go with Jennings. I think he's a good cross. He's actually put up some points over the last few weeks, unlike Debo. And I would go with Jennings. Although, if you want to roll the dice and you need the points, you might want to go with Thielen because he is the number one. Like Jennings gets you 6 or 7 points, But then Adam Thielen could get you a little bit more. What did he have? Like 9 last week? Let's see. Oh, he's going up against Philadelphia. He had 19. Yeah, it might be a long day for Adam Thielen and Carolina Panthers. Yeah, I would go with Jennings based on the matchup. I think it's going to be a tough day for Carolina against Philadelphia. All right, thank you. Should I do Geno or Purdy as my quarterback 2? Avery asked. All right, well, let's see. Geno or Purdy? Who do I think? I would probably go Geno because he's had better weeks. Purdy had that awful week last week. Oh, no. Let's just see. Chicago, Arizona. Bears or Cardinals? Let me just look this up real quick, everybody. The Cardinals are number 1 against quarterbacks. So the toughest. So that's why I would go with Brock Purdy based on the matchup. The Bears are 18th. They give up 21.2 points. The Arizona Cardinals give up 15.5 points. So it's a difference of about 6 points. And based on the matchup, then I would go with Purdy. Although, let's face it, I do not love what Purdy put up last week. Maybe it's just an anomaly. He had 2 points, but he was out, and then he had 19, 23. So maybe it was just against a very tough Buffalo team. But yeah, I would play him. He's projected at over 18 points. And hold on one second. I can give you a little bit more information here. He does go about a half a point under he averages a half a point under his prediction or his projection. So that means he gets about 17 and a half points, which isn't great. Let's look up Geno real quick. Come on, stupid mouse. Where's Geno? Yeah, Gino, he's -4. Yeah, I would go with Purdy. They're both about they average a half a point under their projections, but Purdy's projected for about 2 or 3 more points. So, all right. Uh, I don't know. Recycle man or trash man, I guess. Do we have anybody new? Purdy, Will Burn. I think Jennings, Will Burn says Purdy. So I don't know if he agrees with me or he thinks that I'm crazy, which is fine. I mean, I had people last night because the reason why I have Andrew Mooney up here for all the people on TikTok above sort of the rules or whatever you want to call it. All right, I think Jennings has the highest ceiling too with that 46-point game he had. Yeah, I think Will Burn. I think you're right, Will Burn. I would go Jennings over Debo right now, which is crazy. But all right, I have Mooney up there because last night I had a list of the best people going into Sunday and Monday's game, but I didn't exactly explain it as clearly as that. And people were like, I didn't have Mooney. No, that's not Mooney. That's Drake London. Never mind. What am I thinking? I'm getting them confused. I didn't have Drake London on there. I didn't have Cooper Kupp, and people were getting annoyed with me. It was a debate all night. So I had to consistently explain myself. So all right, let's do a quick reset. I'm looking up Wilson and Herbert right now, but do a quick reset. Hit that follow button. I'm going to be live tomorrow morning before the games. I've only done that like one other time this week or this year. I really like doing that. I just have like Sunday morning stuff. Okay. Wilson, okay, Herbert, the last time he played Kansas City. I'm leaning towards Wilson, but I'm looking up why I wouldn't go with Herbert. Okay, if that makes sense. I'm the last time he played Kansas City, he had just 11 points. He's been playing better. He did lay an egg last week with 7.98 points, which is very low for a quarterback in any league. So, and then Wilson, under those bad conditions a few weeks ago in Cleveland, had a decent game. Well, he had 13.8 points. Let's see. I mean, projection wise, Herbert is expected to get more points than Wilson, but I think Wilson's 13.8 points were affected by the weather the last time. I'm leaning towards Wilson, but this one is not clear and decisive. This is almost a coin flip. Kansas City, let's just look up Kansas City. The Chiefs defense against a quarterback is 25th. The Browns is 13th. So the Browns actually have a little bit tougher defense against quarterbacks than the Chiefs do. And probably because of that matchup, I would actually go with Herbert. But if you wanted to start Wilson as sort of a safety net, because he did get 13 points in snowy conditions, you could do that. But from the information I'm getting, it's pointing to Herbert probably having a few more points than Wilson on for the game. So, all right. I've been staring at my screen. Have I missed anything? I was considering Wilson to combo with Pickens. Well, the only thing with that, Trash Man, I'm just calling you Trash Man because it looks like trash. I'm on my phone, so I don't really 100% know. But the one downside of that is, what if Wilson has a bad game? Like Wilson is not Peyton Manning. And the reason why I bring that up is years ago when I was, doing fantasy, I had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison would be now senior. We just called him Marvin Harrison. And they would score a touchdown almost every game. Peyton Manning would throw for 2 touchdowns almost every game. And one of them would almost inevitably go to Marvin Harrison. So I would get, I want to say quarterback touchdowns back then in that league might have been 6, but maybe they were just 4 like they are mostly today. But I would get, 10 to 12 points every time they scored a touchdown. So it made sense. But you look at Wilson. Okay, let's just look at Wilson real quick. He's had last 4 weeks, 19 points. He threw 3 touchdowns. 7.3, he threw 0 touchdowns. 13.8 against Cleveland, he threw 1 touchdown. And 27 against Cincinnati, he threw 3 touchdowns. Well, I have a good feeling he's probably not going to throw for 414 yards like he did against Cincinnati. So he's probably going to be somewhere between 1 and 2 touchdowns if he's lucky. But like I said, he has 1 week where he has 0 touchdowns, and he got 7.3 points against Baltimore, who we know you can pass against. That's the only thing, Trash Guy, that I would be worried about partnering them together. Unless you feel strongly about it, I don't know that there's a guarantee that Wilson has a great game, because Wilson against Cleveland threw 1 touchdown last time. Now, again, for the 8th time, I know I'm repeating myself. It was bad conditions, but I just don't know that Russell Wilson is Peyton Manning and that Pickens is Marvin Harrison. All right. I would just be worried about that. It might be good to diversify, if you will. So, all right. Logan is here. I get a lot of Logans. Anybody else on YouTube? Don't forget to hit that follow and like button. Don't forget to share this live stream. If you want to jump to the front of the line, you can always send a gift. I'm going to go to Logan right now, who asked London, Kyren, or Evans need 2 PPR. Well, I'm going to probably annoy a lot of people. I would go Evans and Kyren because Kyren goes, well, let's see. Hold on one second. He goes up against Seattle. Seattle against running backs. Well, they're number 8. Hold on. Let me just see. Everything just EJ 101 of 1. Hold on. I'll try to get to you. Where did Logan go? Okay. The thing about London is he has not been consistent at all. That was one of my arguments to not put him on the list, the top 15 in passing for the week. He's had 7, 12.8. I mean, the last 5 weeks, he's only gotten 13 or higher 2 out of the last 5 weeks. And he goes up against Minnesota, and Minnesota against wide receivers, they're not great. They're okay. They're not horrible, I guess. 18, they give up 22, but you got to figure Mooney and London are going to share some of that. And then you also have Ray McLeod, who makes some catches. So, but let's say it's 24. What does that mean? Does that mean, 12 for Mooney, 12 for London, and the rest for Ray? I don't know. He's not been putting up those points. He has not been putting up points that makes him a clear number 1. I would definitely go with Evans. I think he'll have a good game against the Raiders. Let me just look up the Raiders again against the pass. Yeah, they're not very good against the pass, so Evans has a good matchup. Kyren's matchup is okay. It's not great. So I would go Kyren or Evans. Now, if you want to roll the dice and get a little riskier and you believe in London, like so many people proved to me last night, you could swap out Kyren for London and go Evans in London to try to get more points. But I think Kyren probably gets you right around 10 to 13 points, and London gets you anywhere from 5 to 13. So it's a lower floor and a higher ceiling with London. So, all right. Don't forget to hit that like button. We have 2,800. Let's try to get to 3,000 likes. That would be great. Here's a good question. We have BTJ. This is I said no. Sincere McCormick. Hold on one second. This was Ingram, McCormick, Cooper, Hunt, or Hopkins for flex. I'm starting Jonnu already. I'd probably go with Hopkins. I don't like to start tight ends in my flex unless, they're putting up the numbers Cade was or Bowers or whatever the case is. Let me just look up Ingram and see if they're high enough. You got to get to 13 points somewhat regularly. Yeah, I would not do Ingram. Let's see. Sincere. Let's see what Sincere has. Yeah, Sincere doesn't have enough points over the last 2 games. Hunt is going to lose carries to Pacheco no matter what, even if they bring Pacheco along slowly. Pacheco had 7 carries last game. So really it's between Cooper and Hopkins, but the Rams playing Buffalo. Buffalo against wide receivers is actually very well. They're 11. They give up 19.3 points. And my fear with Cooper Kupp is, okay, it's kind of a roll of the dice. It's a big risk. Like in your situation, I would start Hopkins. Hopkins probably has I know he has a good matchup against the Chargers. The Chargers are 29th against wide receivers, their defense, while Buffalo is 11th. So that's a tougher matchup for Cooper. Plus, Cooper got 3 points, and Puka got, 17 or 19 or something like that. So it's clear to me that he became the number one, kind of, or was favored by Stafford last week at least. So that brings into doubt the point. So what I would do is I would probably play Hopkins. If you want to roll the dice and say, oh, it was a blip, it was a glitch last week with Cooper, I'm sure he'll be fine. You can put Cooper Kupp back in, but I think it's a risk based on what happened last week. I think a safe choice would be D-Hop. Based on the matchup with the Chargers, there'll probably be a lot of passing by Patrick Mahomes. All right. Are we caught up on all the gifts? I believe so. Amari Cooper. Well, yeah, I wouldn't do Amari Cooper. I wouldn't even worry about Amari Cooper then. I always get like the names all collywampus. I get them all crazy, so I apologize. Yeah, then I would definitely go with. Who did I just say? Jeez. I would go with Hopkins then. Hopkins has a really good matchup because the Chargers are not very good against wide receivers. Lucas, who is gifted in the past, Braylon Allen or Dissly at flex? Well, Dissly I know has been putting up numbers. What did he do last week? I don't think I've looked him up in a while. Let's just see. I don't like tight ends at flex. Yeah. Dissly had 0 points last week. He had 6.7. Yeah, I would go Braylon Allen. Definitely. Dissly's just not putting up any points. For a flex, it's just like a wide receiver or running back in my mind. You want at least 13 points. Dissly doesn't get you 13 points. He's gotten 13 points once over the entire season. The next highest he's got is 12.1. Braylon Allen, while, a backup role doesn't, get a lot of touches being the backup to Brees, but he's number 1 this week. So I imagine he'll do much better than Dissly. Let's see. What did Dissly do? Dissly against Kansas City had 3.4 points. So is he, let me just see. Yeah, he's number 1. Hayden Hurst. Yeah, I would go Braylon Allen. All right, let's see. Maddox asks BTJ or Addison. Let me look that one up real quick. I'll try to make this a quick one here. Brian Thomas Jr. I think Addison's going to have a good game. But everybody's leaning towards the information I'm getting. They're leaning towards Brian Thomas Jr. I do think he'll have a good game. Wow. Hold on a second, though. I think Addison Addison has a much more favorable matchup. And I think with Jefferson, Addison's going to be able to get a lot of points. So I'm actually going to say, okay, a lot of people are saying Brian Thomas Jr. in this matchup. I would go with Addison. I tend to go against the grain often. I think Addison's going to have a big game because the defense for Atlanta is so poor against wide receivers. Why is my computer now? There we go. Yeah, the Falcons are 30th They give up 20, let's just say 29. It's 28.8, but 29 points. So I think Jefferson and he both, they could have good games. They could have 16 and 13 kind of games. So that's why I would go with Addison. DJ or Ridley, I'd go DJ. He's been putting up a lot of good points. Ridley's been sort of outpaced by Westbrook Ikine. I would go DJ Dominic on that one. All right. BTJ or K Allen or MVS. Did I not answer this one? I guess I didn't. I'll look it up. They're probably going to say Brian Thomas Jr., but let me just look this up. They're going to say that that's what everybody's picking. But Keenan Allen's been putting up some points. Marquez Valdez. Yeah, I would go Keenan Allen. He's been putting up some points. I know they go up against. Let's see here. Why can't I see anything? They go up against San Francisco. San Francisco is tough against wide receivers. However, the Bears. San Francisco's number 2. Oh boy. The matchup is really tough though. Let me just see something here. New Orleans. I know I'm taking a little bit of time. I apologize for that, everybody. I really do. Is this New Orleans? Yeah. I would go MVS on this one. I don't know. I mean, he's been putting up good points. He's the number 1 in New Orleans. It's a pretty good matchup for them against the Giants. The Giants are not very good. Well, they're number 6. Hold on. I'm trying to go against matchup. San Francisco's 2. The Giants are 6. Well, BTJ probably is the answer then, isn't he? Because I'm looking at matchups. I'm trying to go for the best matchup here. Because these guys are all somewhat similar points-wise. Tennessee Titans. Yeah, the Titans are 23rd. So actually the matchup would favor BTJ. So I would go BTJ based on the matchup, actually. I hate to just base it on the matchup, but I do think that Mac Jones and BTJ have some sort of chemistry. They did show it in the last game. Where is BTJ? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Mac Jones. So I think BTJ should have a decent game. I'm not sure he'll get 16, but I think 10 to 13 probably would be good. Where Allen and Valdez, might not get that high based on their matchups. So, all right, let's see. DJ or Ridley? I go DJ. Even though it's a tougher matchup, I think that Westbrook Ikine is taking over and putting up more points and is sort of the go-to for Levis. So I would go DJ on that one. Jets running backs or Alexander Mattison? I would go Braylon Allen. I mean, he's going to get the start, right? Let me just double check that real quick. Sorry that I'm taking so much time. I really have been trying to go. Yeah, Braylon Allen's going to get the start. Do I have him up anywhere? Will Dissly. Let me just look him up real quick. Braylon Allen. Bum, bum, bum. I mean, Allen did have 18.6 points against Tennessee earlier in the year, so he can put up numbers. He had 9 against New England. Miami. Is this the first time they've played Miami? I guess so. All right. Well, Miami against the run is number 8, 17.9, but you got to figure that Braylon Allen's going to get the bulk of the carries. So he's probably good for 10 to 13 points, Braylon Allen. So I would go with him. Anybody on the Raiders or Madison, I think you asked, He's not very good. What about the Isaiah guy who got more work last week? You mean Isaiah Pacheco? The thing with Isaiah is my worry with him is the fact that they'll continue to bring him along slowly. Hunt will get some carries, and he's not going to be sort of at full snaps, full speed, full touches that he had last year. So I think he might be at 80% or 85%. And some of the information that I've been seeing and hearing is the fact that Kansas City might be just kind of getting him game ready for the playoffs and making sure that he's not injured so he's ready to go in the playoffs. Use him maybe in the first half or, at key times, and then let Hunt take over and take a little bit more of the beating and try to keep Pacheco as fresh and as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. Oh, for the Jets. What about the Isaiah guy who got more work last week for the Jets? Okay, the Jets. Hold on. Isaiah for the Jets. Oh, Isaiah Davis. Well, it looks like Braylon Allen's going to replace Brees. So I don't know that Davis. I think he remains number 2, if you will. Davis rushed once. I mean, he just hasn't really been in games. So there's no reason to think. Yeah, he's going to be behind Hall. Yeah, he's going to be behind Hall. I don't think he's going to put up a lot of points. Sorry, I went the whole Isaiah Pacheco, but yeah, I don't. The information that I'm getting and the numbers that I've seen with him throughout the year, he just doesn't get the most attempts in one game has been 3, even with last week. Now he did catch the ball out of the backfield and he got 10 points, but I don't think it's going to be consistent enough where I'm comfortable endorsing him to be a starter on your team. I would rather have you have Braylon Allen. All right, let's see. We are all caught up on everything. I'll put Hopkins in for him then. Who for flex that leaves McCormick, Ingram, and Cooper? Well, you have to go then with, well, you don't have to. And yours is Amari Cooper. Let's see. The Rams against wide receivers. They're middle of the road, 20.3. Let's just look up what Amari Cooper's been doing over the last few games. 2-0. Geez Louise. 6.5 against Kansas City. 2.0. What are your options here? He just got added to the injury report. Who did? If Pickens is out, I'll put Hopkins in for him then. Who for flex? Well, I would put Pickens over any of these guys if he's able to play. And then I would probably go with Cooper, although he hasn't been putting up any points. But if you're able to, obviously, if you're able to play Pickens, play Pickens. But then you're saying if Pickens can't play, it's between McCormick, Ingram, and Cooper. Let's see here. Ingram. Cooper, and McCormick. Let's look up Sincere here. Boom, boom, boom. I know that I go a little slow. I apologize for that. I always look up the numbers. Well, Sincere got 7.5 points against Kansas City. Tampa Bay, he'll be able to run. Cooper's numbers are just so low. And the Rams aren't awful. Tennessee against tight ends. They give up 7.4, so he may not. Okay, Ingram is out because he probably won't get over 10 points. I would lean towards McCormick because he got 7.5 against Kansas City and he plays Tampa Bay. And they're both probably really bad, Kansas City and Tampa Bay. Let's see. Tampa Bay is 4th against the run? Wow, okay. Well, they're harder than I thought. Oh, and Kansas City is 6th. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think he can get 7 points again against Tampa Bay. They're similar against the run. Tampa Bay's ranked 4th. Chiefs are ranked 6th. Chiefs give up 12.3. Buccaneers give up 11.4. So I would go with McCormick, just based on the people that you have, is if Pickens is out. Will Neighbors play? It sounds like he will. Let me look him up real quick. And this is from Martin Shebo. Let me just see real quick. He did not practice and is listed as questionable for Sunday's game. He has a 12 o'clock game, 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern. So 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. You'll know it's always 90 minutes before kickoff. Neighbor stats for a week. It's truly up in the air with the hip flexor. It looks like he might not play with the hip flexor, but you'll have to check the availability 90 minutes before game time on Sunday. I know that totally sucks, but that's what it is right now. I don't know. And a hip flexor is never a good one. Hey, Rob D, what's up, buddy? How are you? What's going on, my friend? What question do you have? So Neighbors, I would say at best is 50-50, but I would almost say it's 40-60 that he doesn't play. All right, let's see here. Jonnu or Bucky? Well, Bucky's got to get healthy. That's the thing. Bucky's got to get healthy. His injury looks a little questionable, which is going to hurt me because I think I have him on every team or 2 of the 3 teams playing. Jonnu Smith against the Jets should have a nice day against the Jets. Let's just see what the Jets do against tight ends. They give up 7.1, but Jonnu's he is clearly a big part of that offense now. 25, 19, 16 the last 3 weeks. And he's gone up against much better teams in like at least Green Bay last week. Although Green Bay they give up 10.3. Let's see. Bucky or Jonnu? Bucky's been putting up massive points, but with his injury, he's questionable. He practiced limited, so you're going to have to check him. Oh, and thank you for the roses. I just saw those pop up. And I'll have to see who it was. I just saw roses. Rob D for the roses. Thank you, buddy. Thoughts on Walker starting? I will get to that. Let me just get done with the Bucky Irving. Now, Bucky's been putting up really big numbers. He does have this hip back thing, and he's questionable for week 14 against the Raiders. He did practice limited, which is good. I would say he's maybe 50-50. We're not going to know. Luckily, they play the noon game, noon Central Time, 1 Eastern. So at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, or maybe 10 minutes later, you'll know whether or not Bucky Irving's playing. So you can make that adjustment. If Bucky doesn't play, obviously you have no choice but to start Jonnu. But if Bucky plays, he really does have a tough matchup with Las Vegas, because Vegas against running backs is the 3rd toughest. They give up 10.7 points, and you got to figure Rachaad White's going to get it, Spears is going to get it, and Bucky's going to get it. So it's going to tap down his number of points, and that's why I would go with Jonnu, because he's been such a big part of that offense that he is. Well, let's just say it this way. Jonnu is a very safe pick that should get you a good amount of points. If you want to roll the dice and you want to try to get Bucky for 26, I don't think he's going to get that high. I don't think he's going to be in the 20s. You could go with Bucky, but I think Jonnu is a very safe pick. All right, Rob D, what are your thoughts on Walker starting? Asked Rob D, who gifted and is one of my subscribers, who's on the list right there. Rob D, my man. you too can be a subscriber for $2.99 a month. And let's face it, you only have to do one more month. The season's almost over. Then I'll be rolling into basketball and then baseball fantasy. Not sure anybody plays basketball, or not many people play basketball, but we will roll into that. Looking forward to it. I have 2 basketball teams now. I'm going to actually start a Sideline Fans basketball fantasy league. Next year, I'll have a Sideline Fans fantasy football league, and I'll have a baseball league. So we all can kind of play each other, and you can see, you can beat me and give me all kinds of what about it. So, okay, Walker is still listed as questionable. Seems Friday that he isn't sure if Walker will play Sunday. That's not a good sign, folks. They go against Arizona. Their game is the 3:05 game. Well, 3:05 Central, 4:05 Eastern. So you're going to have to make a decision before that. It really looks like he's probably not going to play because they're already saying he's uncertain for Sunday. I would say maybe he has a 30% chance of playing. If you're listening to this right now, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok, you might want to think about getting Zach Charbonnet, the backup, and maybe putting him in. Might be a good idea to do. I'm actually going to make a note of that because I have Walker on a lot of my teams. I also have Bucky, so I have a lot of injuries I have to deal with. So I might look for Charbonnet and put him in the starting lineup, because you got to figure that with an ankle injury on a running back, my guess is, and I could be way off on this, is even if Walker is able to play, are they going to play him as much as they normally do? And when I say normally do, if you look at his weeks, he's usually in the teens. 2 times he's gotten 20 or over carries for rushing, but usually about 14 to 16 carries. He did get 16 carries last week for just an abysmal 49 yards. The week before, he had 16 carries, 41 yards, even worse, but he did have 4 catches for 52 yards. So, and last week he caught the ball twice for a -3. So, bad week for him. Probably a lot of ankle injury stuff. I would look for Charbonnet if you can put him on your roster at all, if you have any space with all the buys you might be dealing with. But yeah, Walker right now, I don't. It if I was to bet, and I don't bet really, because it's a slippery slope. I would say he probably doesn't play. If I had to make a $20 bet, I would say he doesn't play tomorrow. But maybe he'll miraculously be healed and ready to go. But even if he is, you got to figure they're going to limit him just a little bit. All right, Rob D, thank you for all that. I appreciate it. It's Aiden, everybody. Bench 1, cut 2. Ferguson Disley. Bench 1, cut 2, start 1. Okay, well, I'm not doing all of that. I'm just saying the person I would start is Freiermuth. All right, I would start Freiermuth. Who you want to cut? Honestly, I'm not going to go into that. You'll have to, honestly, you should gift me. It's Aiden. That's digging a little bit deeper. It's going to take me 15 minutes to really figure that one out. But I would start Freiermuth against Cleveland. All right. Should I start Braylon Allen or Isaac Guerendo? That's a good question. They're both sort of up in the air. If you're a big risk taker, I would start Guerendo, Braden. If you're not as big of a risk taker, I would start Braylon Allen. But they're both a little risky because they haven't really been the number one clear starter this season. I mean, I think Braylon did a little bit when Breece was injured, but I mean, it's clear now, and they need wins in New York with the Jets. So Isaac is a little bit riskier, but probably has a higher reward. So I'm leaning towards him over Braylon Allen in this scenario. So you might want to look that way as well. All right, let's see what we got here. Pick 2, Hubbard, Jones, Tony Pollard. I would go definitely Tony Pollard base. Hey, Sick Ass is here. Hey, Sick Ass, how you doing, buddy? Glad to have you on the live. Let me just jump back up and then I'll get to sick. Should I start Tracy over Aaron Jones? I would. He has a much better matchup and probably has a better week. But let me just jump up. Hubbard, Jones. I would go Jones and Tony Pollard. Hubbard, with the whole Brooks thing, I'm worried about the number of touches he's going to get. So at least Jones is going to get a regular amount of touches, even though he's not putting up a ton of points. Hubbard really laid an egg last week with Brooks behind, and Pollard has a great matchup. So he is playing like one of the worst defenses against running backs. So he should have a good week. All right, sick ass. Let's look at it a little bit more. Start Tracy. I'll take a little time here. So everybody just bear with me. Keep hitting that like. I'm also going to say hit that follow. I go live. I'll be live tomorrow morning before the kickoff. I don't always do that, but I'm looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun. All right, Tracy. Let's look this way up. All right, Tracy and Jones. Okay, Tyrone Tracy, Aaron Jones. Let's see what the experts say. They're leaning towards Aaron Jones. Atlanta against the run. Now let's look at the matchup. Oh, New Orleans. Okay. So the Falcons and the Saints against the run. The Saints are 26th. The Falcons are 6th. So the matchup favors Tyrone Tracy. And for that reason, I would go Tyrone Tracy. Now let's look up each person individual. That's not my final answer. Just bear with me. You know, sick as I do this, I take forever. So just bear with me, everybody. And sick as is one of my buddies. Love when he's on. Sometimes I think he's even called me out. And I love that. I love the interaction. Let's just see. Tracy Jones. Let me look up Tracy. I know I'm taking a while. Maybe maybe I need to. Okay. So Tracy, the last 4 weeks, 7.4, 14.9, 7, 13.5. All right. So he did okay against Carolina and Dallas. He didn't do great against Tampa Bay, 7. Washington, only 7. Pittsburgh, he got a whopping 22. All right. Aaron Jones has had 8.3, 18, 4.8, 11.10. I guess the way I would look at it is I would go with the matchup because when Tracy plays a bad team, he seems to score. Tampa Bay against the run. Let's just see. Tampa Bay's pretty good against the run. And Tyrone Tracy did not do well against Tampa Bay. He did do well against Dallas, and Dallas is ranked, where's the star? Dallas is 20th. So I would go with Tyrone Tracy. He does play well against bad teams from a running back defense standpoint. And so he should be doing that on this one, sick ass. So I would go Tracy. All right. I'm going to jump to YouTube real quick. Stealthy is here. Stealthy. Who should I start? Devontae Smith or Westbrook Ikine? Hey, sick ass, thank you for the rose, buddy. I really do appreciate it. Just remember on YouTube, they do have gifts now, which is kind of fun because you're not stuck with just the super tips and all that, where it's basically a super tip. If you wanted to ask a question, you had to spend $2, and I wasn't even asking for that on TikTok. Okay. Devontae Smith or Westbrook Ikine? I would go with Westbrook Ikine. Devontae Smith has been highly inconsistent. If you look at Ikine over the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been doing really well. Also, Amari Cooper is a free agent. I could snag him if needed. I don't know that Amari Cooper puts up. Well, they go against the Rams, though. The Rams against wide receivers. I think they're middling. I just looked them up. Yeah, they're middling. 20.3 points. But you got to figure that with Buffalo, they're going to pass to a few people. Shakir's going to get a couple. Obviously, Amari Cooper, maybe Samuel or something like that. Yeah, I would go with Ikine. I have him on all 3 of my teams. I have him starting this week. He has a good matchup. He's been playing really well. He seems to have good chemistry with Will Levis. he's at that point where people are like, should I start him? Is he going to be good? Is he no good? Those kinds of things. So I'm just going to play him confidently. Now, obviously they have to play the games. Obviously Will Levis has to have a good game. Like he's been playing fairly well. I mean, I don't think he gets 20 points every week, but he's been, right around that 17, 18, somewhere in there, a couple times in the 20s. So I think Westbrook Itkind's going to have a good game. I'm not saying he's going to have 20 points, but I think he should have 13, or let's just be safe and say 12 to 16 points. So that's where I'm putting him in. That's why I would say, hey, I think he's a good start. All right, Stealthy, thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit follow on TikTok. I go live. I'll be live tomorrow morning. All right, here's a good one. Edward G asked, Judy, Ridley, Keenan Allen. Judy scored 11 points against Pittsburgh last game. He's a safe bet, meaning his pass production is 11 points. It's not great, but at least you got 11 points. Ridley has been a yo-yo, and he's given up to what am I? I'm losing my train of thought. To Westbrook Ikhine. I would go Keenan Allen. He's been having some good weeks. They've been playing tough teams, and Caleb Williams has still been doing well. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at another good game by Keenan Allen where he puts up, 13 to 18 points. Now they are going up against San Francisco, and San Francisco is tough against wide receivers. All right. So it's not going to be, they're number 2. They give up 13.6 points to wide receivers. But, they beat the Lions. They beat Minnesota, who had a little bit better teams against the pass. Let me just say this. Because I'm looking at Pittsburgh and where they're ranked against wide receivers, I would probably go Judy in this case. I think Allen could have a good game, but it's a little riskier. He has been having good games. Caleb Williams has been putting up really good games the last 2 weeks. I think he's had 26 points. If you want to roll the dice and take a riskier pick, I would go Keenan Allen. If you want a safer pick that probably gets you 11 to 14 points, I would go Jerry Jeudy. Now, he might not get you 13 points for a wide receiver or running back is always key for me because that's key in a 10-team league. And that's, most of the leagues that you guys play in are 10 teams. So that's why I would go that way. But I think overall, Judy is a safe, steady pick. Keenan Allen is a little bit more roll the dice. And Ridley just has not been consistently putting up good numbers. And that's why I'm advocating, not to start him. So. K3 asks, start Guerendo or Connor? Let's look it up. It's a good question. I bet you they say Guerendo, but we'll see. The thing about Guerendo, and I'm just going to put this out there, is he's kind of an unknown quantity. We don't really know. He's not been in this situation before. So, therefore, I would actually pick James Conner. It's going to be close. Seattle against the run is number 8. And Chicago against the run is 23. So Guerendo actually has a better matchup. So if you want to roll the dice and be a little riskier, you can go Guerendo. If you want to be a little safer and assume Connor's going to get the bulk of the carries to a much better run defense, you could go with Connor. I have Henry and Mixon on a bye. Should I start Alexander Madison or Sincere McCormick? Oh, my God. I think it's Sincere McCormick. Didn't he have a better game last week? Let me just look that up. Basically, you're at that point where it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, Sincere had 7 points, 7.5 actually. And it's Madison, yeah. People usually when they ask me about Madison, they usually put D's in. Madison ankles listed as questionable. Okay, so he's still listed for a second straight week. Madison has operated with a cap on his reps and ended and ended it as questionable to suit up. He ultimately was inactive last Friday. Well, first of all, you have to see if Madison even plays, because apparently, well, he didn't play last week and he might not play this week. He's still listed as questionable. So you're going to want to see, they have the 12 Central, 1 Eastern game. So you'll know by 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, or give or take 10 minutes, whether or not Madison even plays. If Madison plays, Kansas City, what did Madison do? Let's just look at, okay, Madison had 6.9 points against Kansas City. Sincere McCormick had 7.5, so relatively close. I would probably, if Madison plays, I would, okay, I have two thoughts here. Madison probably becomes the number one again, but he's dealing with the ankle injury. So are they going to put kid gloves on him a little bit and give more reps to Sincere McCormick? I probably would start Sincere McCormick either way. Quite honestly, probably both of them don't get much more points than 8 points anyway, 5 to 8 for either one of them. So you're looking at kind of equals. Hey, 292 is here. So I would go Sincere McCormick. Gun to my head, I would go Sincere McCormick. What's up, man? What's up, 292? 292 is in the house. 292 is in the house. That means if you have questions, he may answer them. And 9 times out of 10, that's user 292 and me, agree. So I love it when he's around. You are welcome, Grant Owens. Thank you for being part of the live stream. Braylon Allen or McConkey? If McConkey's able to play, I would start McConkey, but he's still very questionable, and therefore I would go Braylon Allen. If McConkey can't play, go Braylon Allen, but if McConkey plays, I would play him. He had 15 points against Kansas City. It should be a pretty good game. You can throw against Kansas City. That has not changed during the season whatsoever. All right, guys, I've been on for a while. Make sure you hit that like button and that follow. I'll be live tomorrow before the games. I'll probably be live later today. So hit that follow so you know when I'm on. You can ask more questions. You can watch. And I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. All right. We're still on YouTube, though, guys. Love it. We're on YouTube. Can we get more people? I don't know who's on. There's one person on. So maybe I should just end the stream, huh? Let's see. I tried to get to everybody's question on YouTube. Anybody on YouTube? All right. Well, I'm just going to end this stream. We'll be back on later tonight.